Alright, so we're going to go ahead and create a wall using the wall that we created here, this basic stone on wood. And the thing you want to make sure is that you are hosting to the correct base plan. So right now I'm in Doyle plan A1, and I actually want the bottom of my wall to be hosted to Doyle plan A0. I could go to that plan and it would automatically host there, but I can also come to this pull down over here in my properties dialog, and I can say Doyle plan A0. So there's the base constraint. And then there's also a top constraint here. So I want that to be sure to be on Doyle roof. So my wall is going to base on A0 and go up to roof, and it's telling me how big that is right here, and it's grayed out the height because it's being controlled by those two parameters. Now I'm going to come out and I'm just going to take a look at my status bar here and make sure that it's set to core face exterior, and that's where it's going to justify when I start clicking to create the walls. So I'm going to come in and left click and draw my walls around on those grids. And I'm going to go to modify to stop that command, and if I zoom in, you're going to see that it's justified on the core exterior. So there's the wood, which is the load bearing, and then when it gets to the sheathing, it considers that non-load bearing. So that's the core face. All right. If I go to my 3D view, you'll see that it's drawing the walls just like that. So the next thing we're going to do is put floors in. So I'm going to go to my Doyle plan A1, which is where we want the floors to host. So just to reiterate, if I go to south, you can see our walls are going from A0 up to roof, and we want to host our floor on plan A1. So I'm going to go to my plan A1, and I'm going to go to the architecture floor. And for the floor, I'm going to go to the pull down, and I'm going to pick the wood joist 10-inch with wood finish. So if I left click on that, the floors work very much like the walls. So just to show you, if I go to edit type and edit the structure, we have wood flooring of 3/4 inch, sheathing of 3/4 inch, and the structure below. So that's the level, the different layers for that floor. Now, once I'm in the floor command, I need to draw a border for the floors. And in the draw panel are all the different ways you can draw profiles and borders. And by default, it has pick walls. And there's also an extend into wall core, which we'll take a look at in just a minute. If I hover over the wall and tap the tab key while the select walls is picked, it'll pick all those walls, and I can left click. And you'll see a magenta line appears right on the face of the core, right? And once I do that, it also has a span. This is saying that the floor is spanning that way. If you wanted the floor to span this way, you could reset the span by picking span direction here and picking the other. It's not really that important for us right now. Once you do that, you can hit the big green check, and it says the floor and the overlaps the walls. Would you like to join the geometry? And I say yes. What that means is if I go to this section and I zoom in and I left click off the selection, it's actually cut through the wall there and joined the cores, right? So if this floor were created, you would have the joist and the sheathing would be placed down, and then you would put the walls on top of that. So it's actually doing sort of a construction. Now you wouldn't have the studs coming down here, and we can deal with that later. We're actually being a little expedient with this particular process. Okay. All right, so the next thing we're going to do when we come back is we're going to do the ceiling and the roof. Oh, but I forgot we need to do we'll also do the porch.